The Supreme Court has adjourned the suit filed by some state governments challenging the Naira redesign policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The Apex Court adjourned the case till Wednesday, February 22nd for hearing of the consolidated suit by 10 states. Meanwhile, protests have continued across the country where residents in Warri, Benin City, Ibadan, and Akure took to the streets to protest Naira shortage. Let's share some viral videos of the protests in Ibadan and Benin with you.
They are fucking hungry. Don't know what's up. They are fucking hungry.
Yes, the things are really bad. What better can say pada saying this man should just go back. Petrol on tunda sílẹ̀.
I want to petrol lára àwọn ọlọ́kadà tó ń kọjá.
No worry.
Petrol on tunda sílẹ̀.
Àwọn ń jó petrol lára àwọn ọlọ́kadà tó ń kọjá.
Ṣé bíbí ìtú fún adá bá fẹ́ máa lọ? Ẹ̀yin ṣáà dúró bẹ́ẹ̀.
Live at Union Bank. Udu Road. No, now that is go bombo. Ni mo put that down there, so that's the way here is. They don't run. Police don't come.
Yeah, pigeon I waiting to pay.
Okay, some people they say we want to drop.
Everybody get one box.
Don't carry picking up. Because she I'm on a common because you get the light on that child.
Rampage happening live at Ring Road, the capital city of Edo State. Boys have gone on rampage over the new Naira note scarcity. Benin has gone on rampage.
Officially, Babajide, this policy has plunged the Federal Republic of Nigeria into crisis.
Yes, and the possibility of this expanding is there.
Or escalating.
The same thing that we are saying. If now that we've had it in Ogun State, we've had it in Akure, they are coming nearer to Lagos. The governor of Lagos State must do the needful.
Because if our
He
people
has
come
to
out,
enforce the decision of the Supreme Court. We've seen other governors lock up business premises where they are rejecting the Naira. No individual, Emefiele, 10 of Emefiele do not equate to even a judge of the Supreme Court. They have to respect the judgment of the Supreme Court that says that the Naira, old Naira notes can be used at this
Still
time.
illegal
Because
tender.
it's that frustration that is causing people to
don't have
take to the
access to the
street,
new one, they don't have
causing
access to the old
people
one.
to start attacking
That rejected the
in
old
banks
one.
and all that.
Yes.
He has to do that. Because if tension continues to build up in Lagos and we have riots in Lagos,
We cannot curtail
what
it.
we are seeing in other places will be a child's play.
Yes.
So those banks, Sanwo-Olu has to have a meeting with those the bank MDs and the rest of them.
This
Take those Naira notes from people. That's what the Supreme Court says.
till 22nd.
Take the Naira notes from people. People cannot stand the possibility of losing their hand-earned money. It can push some people to suicide. It can push people to violence. So that is the minimum that these business premises can do, at least to help calm things down. No one has the right to reject the Nigerian currency until it is officially no longer legal tender. And as we speak, the old Naira notes remain legal tender. The Supreme Court affirmed that. In fact, Justice Okoro reminded Kanu Agabi, the lawyer of the federal government, that remember the order that we gave. And he cited a case saying that if you come before a court, once you agree to come before a court, you are duty bound to wait until the matter is decided. So the federal government and the CBN have no right under the law to come and say that, no, that deadline has expired. When the Supreme Court was yet to even hear the matter.
Where's the place of this argument? That
Immediately he said that, Kanu Agabi replied that, yes, you are right. And the judge went on to say, tell your client to let the people have money. If they go to the ATM, the plaintiffs will not come and withdraw the case. Make money available to the poor masses. You should know that a hungry man is an angry man. I won't say more than this. This was what Justice Okoro, who is the head of the 7-man panel, said to Kanu Agabi, the lawyer of the federal government and CBN, to remind them that, look, we are all facing this problem. Now the judges know that people are suffering. The judges know that. By saying this, Justice Okoro has said, yes, indirectly, that, look, the suffering of the people has got to us. Tell your clients to make money available to Nigerians so that this crisis can end. Then when Kanu Agabi was quoted as saying, people are trying to blame the federal government and the Attorney General for the poverty in the land, that poverty has been there, trying to give the impression that this is not what caused it. Of course, he's a lawyer. He would try to claim that he does not know that this is the pain that we are solving. But in another breath, I heard him saying, we are trying to solve this problem.
I don't know.
He knows what to do.
Why they're always trying to twist things.
And that's the nature of lawyers.
Vague.
That's the nature of lawyers.
The
Lawyers
direct
are
order.
trained to tell us that what you are wearing is actually white, not black. Your suit. They are trained according as they are paid. That's how a brilliant essayist and writer described them. That according as they are paid, they are trained to tell us that black is white and white is black. But let's even leave that. The suffering of the Nigerian people has to be addressed. And government must behave responsibly. My own advice to governors, and I trust that the governor of Kaduna State is already good at doing that. Any business premises that wants this pain that Nigerians are suffering to get worse, that refuses to obey the order of the Supreme Court and refuses to take the old Naira notes, they should go and lock up those business premises. And I know that Nasir El-Rufai even has this attitude of demolishing buildings. So I know that this time he is supercharged to go and demolish. Whether you are a bank or not, you are under the law. So there is no reason to disobey the Supreme Court.
Some people will say, never again must we have a situation like this, that till they start claiming casualties, till we start seeing our president is always aloof. And these visuals will go viral, it will be all over the place. The normal sit down, look, laid back attitude. The 7 days is past now. People will start killing, things will start happening. We are saying it now. Still, they think this policy can sail through.
I was just listening to Babajide and the advice that is given to the governor of Lagos State. And I'm like, we are in a very, very confused situation. And things can only get worse if we don't
Nip it down.
nip it. It's already bad. And for me, it goes even beyond what a governor says or decides to do. I think this problem was created by the federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria, right? And the solution can only come through those two arms, through the FG and the CBN. Because let me just give you this scenario. If you ask banks to take old notes, if the governors tell banks to take old notes, do you think they are going to believe they are going to obey the governors? They report to the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Just one person, Mr. President, that's
Exactly.
the missing
So
key.
they report to the Central Bank of Nigeria, and without any official directive from the Central Bank of Nigeria, these banks are not going to do anything. You can see what happened. Even in Lagos, the courts rejected old notes, despite the ruling of the Supreme Court. You see, this kind of confusion in a government that is the ruling party is making everybody to be confused, and it's shameful.
It's shameful, honestly.
It's shameful because we are seeing a ruling party that is at war within itself. So you now subject other,
And the people who are supporting is clearly anti-people policy. They are the people from the rival party.
so you now see that
yes, see the
the
governor of,
opposition.
The hypocrisy in the
Yes, this is what we
in
see.
this whole
that
thing.
People have
Imagine
lost
even the
capacity
Edo
to even be
governor
rational.
and Bayelsa governor have decided to join the FG. To join the FG against the other 10 governors that went to court about this.
Meanwhile, there are people are rioting.
So you see that this thing is purely political. And when two elephants are fighting, you now see that the grass becomes the victim, which is what is happening in Nigeria now. Look,
My own biggest concern is that it's the masses who are suffering.
Yeah.
Somebody was telling me, he said, okay, you are thinking that banks won't give politicians money. The bulk of the money in the banks, who owns them?
Politicians.
Is it not politicians? Politicians are the people who can loot at the level of billions.
Yes,
Now they'll keep in the banks. Look at what usually happens when a new government comes in. You see banks will start going after them. If people, they just won National Assembly elections, banks will descend on them. Oh, we want you to patronize our bank. That is what they do. So it's because they know that these people always have funds. So is it that politician who will now need money? In fact, somebody was telling me that a politician has the capacity to even know how much was supplied the bank.
They do,
They'll
and
say,
they
okay,
do know.
wọ́n fún yín ní owó yẹn lánàá, okay, èló ló fẹ́ fún mi nínú ẹ̀?
Yeah.
How much are you going to give me? I know that you received also amount of new notes yesterday. How much are you going to give me? They will negotiate, and then the politician
As a
have his
matter
way.
of fact, even CBN governor said it yesterday that politicians are the one collecting
He
the
has
money.
not supplied enough. He should
That is the
provide proof.
problem. That
He
is
should
the
provide proof that
problem.
you see, if this country were a country where public officers, you know, respect the people and are accountable to the people, he will tell us how much he has printed. They will be briefing us that on a daily basis, this is how much
and
we are
this is
pushing.
how much we are
Yes,
pushing.
this is how much we are pushing
And
to
even
the
the banks
They are
will be
unable
held
to do that.
responsible for the distribution. They should be held responsible for how they have been distributing the money, because obviously this money is not being supplied. The
It's
new
not
notes,
being, yes.
they are not being supplied.
Look at, there was a bank that they accused of receiving 200 and something million. That they didn't distribute it. ICPC rushed to the place. See their defense. They said, we have distributed this money. What we had, that place that you went to is a regional headquarters, from where we funnel the monies to other places. That this is our record. See what we have distributed over the
And it's not even
days.
possible
Nigerians
for
will not
one
listen to
bank.
that.
Anyway,
No.
that is their
They will not
problem.
get
But
that
the
fact.
truth is, at the end of the day, what did they do? Let the ICPC file charges against those people now. That is why sometimes all those the anti-corruption bodies, they are unable to make headway. Because you do some of these things just for the cameras to come and
Optics, just-
those guys provided. They even said, okay,
It's
that
not even possible
you can
for a
check with
branch to
CBN.
get that kind of.
You
that
can check with
is-
CBN to
yeah.
see how
sum
we've been
of
distributing
money.
this
Yeah.
We
thing.
hear
There's
this
no
kind
way a
of
branch will have no. But of course, we now it's our duty to look for the truth, and this is what happened. At the end of the day, the whole nonsense
Was
just
just a-
fizzled out because it was a storm in a
Combination.
teacup. You know, making a mountain out of a molehill. The reality is that they are not supplying enough. We have, you know what they are even doing? Somebody in the banks told me that it's so bad now that they will call the CBN to say, we don't have enough, nobody will pick their calls.
Wow.
Ideally, Emefiele should be addressing us every day.
Yeah.
That gentlemen and women of our country, this is how much we pushed out today. This is what we have printed.
No
The
communication,
totality
nothing.
of what we have printed. Because they are not accountable. They know that the truth is that they do not have enough. Let them prove to us. I challenge them to prove that they have enough and that they have supplied enough.
Are not accountable to
They are not accountable to anybody.
The problem
And the
is that
system allows them to get away with not being accountable.
Nigerians have never been at the centerpiece of our policies. And that is what is obvious now. When you want to take a decision, you look at the impact, the implication for the people, on the people. Definitely in this particular case, that was not done. And that has
They
never
just
been
rush
done.
to do it because,
Yes.
you know, when people are driven by emotions, impotent emotion, oh, we are targeting individuals, this is what we want to do. At the end of the day, you are not you will not use, you use your intuition instead of your brain. You will not think deep. Because you are already focused on what you think
This
you want
is
to
what
achieve.
you want to achieve.
You are not looking at, or you are
The
fixated.
implication,
You are not looking at what could happen. And I've said it, okay, they talk about, oh, India did it. Okay, when India did it, what happened? Nigerians should ask questions, what happened? For 2 years, the Indians didn't recover from it. The economy suffered. And it was the poor people that largely suffered in India. Even when they were claiming that, oh, we wanted to address counterfeiting, they found only very few counterfeit notes.
Somebody spoke
And
about
they withdrew money valued in excess of 286 billion.
Somebody spoke about Sweden's cashless policy, that they are the best in the world and everything, but still, they still have enough cash in circulation.
People, yes.
It's
They are
really
still
even
spending
Nigeria.
cash.
Spending cash is not a crime now.
spending
It's not
cash.
a crime.
There's nothing.
No,
There's no
cashless
society that
policy.
is cashless.
Cashless
Ayo,
policy.
when they talk about cashless, there's no society that is cashless. They praise South Korea for the progress that they made in terms of the cashless economy. What did they do in South Korea? They created incentives for business owners. So that when you come in, you bring this is what you get. Those ones, in turn, now became champions of the cashless economy, reaching out to their own patrons to say, okay, gentlemen, this is what you do, this is what we'll do for you if you do this, if you do that. You don't legislate it by force.
Implement cashless
That's not how to
policy
do.
overnight. There are a lot of things that go with
The
cashless.
infrastructure involved,
Exactly.
the
So
wherewithal
it's not
involved.
just about you transferring money. For example, what problem have you been noticing? The bank apps, they broke down. Because a lot more people
Yes.
are now going
They
there.
said in January,
Meanwhile,
108 million.
125
transactions.
percent increase. It has never happened in January alone because a lot of people are doing that. Meanwhile, the infrastructures are
To
there.
support it is not there.
It's not there. So it's not just something that you just go in overnight.
No, it has to be properly
It has
planned.
to be. Yeah.
Properly planned.
It's
How many
obvious that
banks do we have? We don't have enough
this
banks.
particular policy is not about the people. Is political.
Yes.
And every day it's
It's
getting
getting worse.
clearer
It's
and
getting
clearer
worse.
that this
It's
is
getting
merely
worse.
a political.
Nobody knows what will happen
policy.
next. Tomorrow when we wake up, we don't know what will happen
Honestly.
next. Like where they had these riots now. Even I'm sure that the governor of Edo State, who joined them in promoting something that has already failed, he did not know that his own state will be on fire. You hear what they were singing about him, the derisive songs that they were singing about their governor. If you listen to them, he will be ashamed. Now you've joined them. What have you gained? That, you support this. Something that is bringing misery, so much
would
pain
like
on
to
your people.
politicize
You support
everything.
it. By saying that, you are inciting your people.